أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلوات الله تعالى والسلام عليه fellow Gambians, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Ngamo be kontong momo yalonko ibe njibe kante nyin tembe ibe Gambia ibe Dauda ngal be kontong ngal nimbara fana natale bi kunum bijang nimol kachata kacha ngake abe dendim fenna mi yalonko akumata bat nkatara kuola kunun mi yalon ko bankola kuola bi fanam fele murunda nan nada puru nin Gambiano le kacha bidum nada kacha kuo minna wala be dendin na constitutional na new constitution mi yalon ko ya draft it's been table right now ye karamfolo kala le ka fo mi first reading and there will be second reading in March of 2025. Dame alon ko bitun ku jamal be discourse laje. Nata min kacha manna politico kachala. We have not come to speak on party lines. We have not come to discriminate any political party. We are not here to speak against any political party. Instead, natale puru ning Gambia nol be kacha sako Gambia dingol minni alon ko wollel be sirin Gambia e bandala e ka voy ko diaspora. Jannin ka bula kuo fa kono follow lafta mi yitande lolom nyindi ko near political party or jibe Gambia banko kan. If you look at political parties in our country, majority of them have very strong support from the diaspora. Jama balbe kono, ikama ko role min sort of financially, isembo jama akabo bantale. Wale atinna laftan ning na molye kacha mini alon konto lebe diaspora Gambia e bantala Gambia dingol mimbe sirinje bar min kumma yata wote wole molti mini alon ko ika molu mako e Gambia banko kan Gambia dingol min be banta ibe doku okela ibe haji bal topotola mole suokono ibe business ol sambal bi laftan nato lele kacha bi. In 2006, former President Yaya AJJ Jammeh, for whatever reason, passed a bill. A bill passed co. There was an amendment in the 1997 Constitution, provisional co. Henceforth, Gambia diwo Gambia ding. Ning atuma ko imu Gambia dingolti. Bari ina atana yeddi ya soto banko dodo, you have citizenship in a different country, you are not going to be qualified to hold public office that I am coming to mention. You will not be allowed to become a cabinet minister. You will not be a member of the executive branch of government. You will not also be allowed to be a member of the legislative body of the Republic of the Gambia if you hold a nationality other than Gambian nationality. Jammeh did that. We knew he did it for reasons. There were a lot of pressures. There were a lot of resistance, a lot of fights from the diaspora against him. And of course, going to his end as president of the Gambia, everybody knows President Yaya Jammeh, diaspora eminno ka bondi mansayal. kabirin president Yaya Jammeh bota luwa jamalel be 1997 constitution ko mi alon ko Gambia dingol mbe ngalon ko they are very discriminatory wol natale pour ka a particular sector of society ke bali bankola nafal dol nata pour ka a particular individual in society ka target wo sectional jamalel sotota num 1997 constitution ko we came in good faith. President Adama Barrow nata manseala ako natale puru nga make sure Gambia dingo beye kum Gambia banko kan mo be da e tara mara loto mo be la kango e tara Gambia samba nyato. Everyone should have a say, everyone should have a view, not only a view and share, but there has to be key sectors in our government where everybody must have a representation. And these sectors, legislature, you have the judiciary and executive. These are the branches that run a country. For most part, legislature and executive. Kabiring Honorable Daboning Yeminu imprisoned by Yaya Jammeh, Kabiri Fintita, the political prisoners. There was a provision in our constitution, provision on Minko, Local Government Act, ACO, because ofana Yaya Jammeh akele pura semboso. Ako momo nibe political party oto, itate carte of faye, imu MP letibang, National Assembly member, imu chairman oltibang, area council wala mayor la muiti bang, wala council la muiti, ni ibe party okono, for example, UDP, wala NPP, ni wale carte of faye ye samba parliament, wala yeke mayoti, wala yeke chairmanoti, wala yeke counciloti. Ni luolu ye fonyo, ibota o party oto, if your party di yabula, because you are no longer member of that particular party, that gave you that opportunity to come to parliament, you will cease becoming a member of parliament. I'm sure Jammeh did that to control that anybody that come to APRC and they made you an MP or a chairman, when you leave the party, you are going to be expelled from your office. There will be a new election. That was very discriminatory. Local government. Below Nata, below me along I feel that aspect of the constitution was very discriminatory against our National Assembly members. Whether you are an MP for today, whether you are going to be an MP in 100 years, we believe generally that section of Local Government Act was very discriminatory and unfair to our National Assembly members. Molsekeno kilindi biye dia same kuya. But ite lafla moli ke kilinti bi imandia I rafta janjanna iko do ko nal janjanda ite la nafaibe fola alale. Musoni nkeo ni fuduo kadia ba nim fuduo fana banta I be nyantale kontani ringo janjang wolem dinoti wolem adoti. Based on those customary provisions, nko MPlu ni be party oto, for example UDP la MPlu ni be MP ala ini UDP kuyata for UDP le tonye foi tolle UDP tonye wala foi da malle man kamben iko alna janjambeta mfangwe wo National Assembly member miye kodo de pansi ala politiko kono ala watu na ala resources ta ye karteo fayae nako bi mantara UDP wo manyan na fola ala siraon Yaya Jammeh wala kenunja ko ni bote la parti oto be fola la siraon la mol miye institution mol miye memory so mbolle made nimni keloga fo Jammeh tata ni nada kuol min be kerin 2017 2018 minnu kedambe wolle sata kam folo njikida mo be ko wolom siloti ciamanolu meyolu wol be wo bilo support e ko le nyanda kela talib bije na botanu UDP henun talibe fola la palasola mbita election kutolla KMC ni yankuba ko mbota UDP le yankuba be fola la palasola mbita carte foil la koteke nin jibi mbalo ko mbota national assembly le jibe be fola la palasola mbita carte fay kutolla ntolo ko baro manza kunda ko ale sono na de ko mambetea wo mu luwa jaw balti luwa jaw jamal le bije bar nyi ndom fana mu luwa jaw balti ala nga bondi ya bondi wala na sirifo sonko bota UDP ya samba kiti wala pour ya bayala palaso bara mankeno adu wo manke silo do manyan na kelano sirifo sonko e fonyo abota je alaji dabo seku maron alaji seku maron alaji jawara baba galle jallo you have Billy Tunkara, Umar Dabo, anin Ablai Sise, nyil be munu UDP la MP leti, kabiri nata 2017, lua bije, iko, lua mimbe nunje nalma bondinun, nyimol mimbe bota no UDP, tade fango inin sirifo songo, nyil bebe fole la palaso la nun, mbida karte fay kutola, ka MP kutol tombom for that section. Nko umambetea, ye, private member bill samba alaji jawara le sponsor na bondi amambeta because that was against our borders. There was a section in the constitution where Yaya Jammeh ko, and that was also discriminatory against an individual. Ako momo siyo be sanjita woro ni lulu ni sanjita woro ni lulu soto abandal bari nin lungo mi ne sanji taworo ni woro so rete kala man sate Gambia koteke an electoral act law what that was an act for the elections. Anybody whose age is above 65 is prohibited from becoming a president in the Republic of the Gambia. That law also was specifically directed at Honorable Ousainou Darboe. Because of course, mo be alone ko Darboe President Yaya Jammeh batandila nung command. So there was a provision in the Gambian constitution. Minko nila siyo 65 years old sanji taworo ni lulu. Itela mansa ya ni siyo tamita wala abandale. Itete kela no mansa you will not be allowed to run for presidency. Nko fanamu luwa jawbalti against Ousainou Darboe. It was directed at Ousainou Darboe. Iko luwa jawba ngofana samba. In fact, Fatoumata Tambajang, as at the time Kabirin Ganyeta, as a coalition, Fatoumata Tambajang was said to have had an age above 65. Ala siyosi at 65 years still. He left her telekelanum vice president, but because her siyosi at sanji taworo ni lultile, ye Palazzo D, he was Minister of Women's Affairs, overseeing the office of the vice president. Bari makalindide ya karafamale. President Barrow nyolu nga below the data parliament, that discriminatory part of the constitution against age nga bondi. Walto Fatoumata Tambajang Jallo jite banna na musolom ntella musom na seri kokolom woloto ya appoint aketano vice president. We removed that law as well, and many other laws. There is a section that is even more discriminatory, because that one is against hundreds of thousands of the most critical sector of our society, and that is the dual citizen Gambian diaspora. Gambia dingol mi yalon ko wollel tamata momo be Gambia banko kan in the last 20 years akama la fitamola wo is less than 1% of the population. Mo be lafta tamola mo be lafta tala tubabu dule ni tata tubabu du itata wandi bankoto pour ye kunje pour ye fen soto no je pour ye keno kilindi pour ye nafa soto de wan in nyantale je kaito soto molka kaitol soto dalilol minna tubabu du jang ika saylo mol dundi dol ka musol futu dol ka muku Dr. Cisse ko di na muktale dol kata into common law partnership pour e kayto soto e ka soto minna they want to access ilaftale soto roke facility lani resources minu bi jang bari la loyalty wala fale man feade ila contribution of fana it will come in depends Gambia. Let's say in our country diaspora's contribution even towards the change of 2016 ndede o fola jang atol min benjibe kan aliya lonne what kind of contribution diaspora will get to democratize that country. Yaya jamme ni loi dundi pour diaspora nkolu ani kuyata bara lonko sembo bela because Jamal Karanta ye kungo yeleta ye nyayeleta ye experience soto ye dulali je tamata nyilbe mu karangoldi ni nata nimme ke cabinet député ya be o soto lal ni ye député ya soto e bembatan la parliament. So I loi dundi 2006 ako momo e Gambia kayto so da nim banku do kayto ite manse ala je ite kala president ite kala minister jang ite kala député bari yaya jammela o be tu kola la o be ke o loi kono afonka mol tombon keke minister di aya lon ko mu dual citizen olati yaya jamme okay. So it was targeted at specific people. Amanke ko aya kele because I feel ko that is the right thing. I kele because I feel ko abe kamfari modol lel kama. But yaya la o caring kola. Yaya ka mol tombo akeke minister di mol ka soto e ka loe ka ke members of parliament ka ke dual citizen oldi yaya jamme ka kala muta abuka fenkel. Arefon ka mol ka minister ake tombo aya longo karmu dual citizen oldi. Ako I don't care about it. Yaya e wol kele. Say, ni yaya Gambia diaspora discriminate. Gambia diaspora ning Gambia dingol natan keta kilindi. Ndol mi yalon kon nalmu ba kilim fa kilingol leti. Doli yem bailen tata wula. For example, Ibrahim Chongan, for example, Nkatele use as a very good example. He served that country. He loved that country. Ibrahim Chongan was a young, vibrant police officer. An aspiring Inspector General of Police. Siaka Sonko from police, he's now in Cuba. The same thing. And tens of thousands of others that were forced out of that country by circumstances beyond their own control. Itata wandia, ya kate kunta wandia, bari kunta mallo jede, ibe seitale, molbeb diaspora jam, ika korda luase, buka son korda san. They refuse to buy compounds here. They will only be renting, but they will buy land back home. They will build multi-million dollars in mansions, even if they are only going there once a year. They spend just 1 month out of 12 months in those houses. They still believe it is better for them than buying a house where they stay and live and work every day. Kanula tambitawa. Ndebe Canada jang. Man korda san. Nse moge tano. Ngam famu bali korda la nkonde korda san na jang. Nga janni Gambia la. Nga keno san Gambia. I'm giving an example. Nga keno san Gambia. Nga halo multi-million dollars. Barinte nga lonko sango kono sinya kili nende kataru wala akata sanji saba. Manfuda nabung kono nga millo Gambia banko ka. Bar hani wo nga bung kendo loje. Nga dada. Nka tax jo mansa kunda Gambia. Property tax nka jo. Kanule tambidola. Momi yoke. Doye business olo. Aye banka korda sanjang. Atata bitiki balo Gambia. Aye business bayele. Aye Gambia dingolta aye employ aye doko dila. Atebe tuba abduja ba hosula abitabe Gambia jibel. Doli a million soto jang. Imang invest jang in agriculture. They can invest in agriculture in this country. But they don't do it. In the United States, in the UK. But he said to Gambia, ye kena bal sang. Ye seno ke la mechoti. Ye molta ye doku el dila. Gambia dingol. Ye wokodo e mabondi Gambia de. Ya doku tuba abdu janne. I doku ta i pareda. I maab depansi jang. I ma invest jang. I man julaya kala jang. Ye Gambia le kanu ilafta Gambia le yirwa. i lafta e tol fanale yirwa bari ni be yirwala i lafta e soto minke i ni dingolu Gambia e lafta ni wala ya tala wala ne tate kenol sang ye firol ke ye mol employ ye dokuol di molla ye domorol available ndi mol ye minu be dokuol e kodo soto isaje ne maro farm abe United States le for example maro farm ye millions of dollars a wala soto a ma sambajang ase keno sanno United States la farming kije hannatu ma be batala bara atata URR e CRR ay kene ba tanje ay abe doku la je abe Gambia dingol jokan ay kodo min soto aka Gambia dingol makoy adaka mano fana wafi Gambia dingol mimbe Gambia saje ko nin kodo bebul mano is an option or an opportunity to buy it. Netara GNPC Mohammed Jawara, Gambia National Petroleum Company, GNPC, ila Deputy Managing Director, Sarakulo Laboda New York, o fana jaba fe baso do keneba. Lamin Jata, Mbemba Jata mimbe no fenke, a Gunjur la Mbemba Jata. A Kotoma Dimma Lamin Jata, o fana keneba sang. For example, I'm giving you examples. Nima woke. Diaspora jumale bija mo jumale bija mi yalonko ma fo mi ma soto ala min harige those that Allah has not given. I'm not talking about those people. We'll come to that. But those that are able to tell me one diaspora Gambian that does not have a land in the Gambia or does not have a house in the Gambia or is not building a house in the Gambia. A Gambian citizen that is also a citizen of any of these Western countries among korda nyine Gambia aya law pour Gambia se nyinya pour infrastructure se better pour housing funds se better because government cannot provide everybody with houses. They build houses and rent them out. That is making accommodation available. They are doing a job that is government's responsibility to build affordable housing, even though they may not be as affordable, but some are even affordable. Not kidding call yele betu babdu ye line household load la betu na sarakulo din kendol so de America be Angola ye cordal law ye line household law di bakunda dula betu pour Gambia dingol se dula so no be dame rent la momi yalonko someone that struggles to pay rent cannot build a house. Government's responsibility, it's part of it, to build affordable housing for citizenry, right to live in a dignified place. That is a right. That is a responsibility of a government. But diasporans are doing that. How much do they contribute? Almost $1 billion. That is almost, how many billion dollars? Almost $67 billion. Diaspora kaole depends annually in the Gambia. That is the GDP. That's 40% of our GDP. Diaspora kaole contribute. Diaspora, Gambian diaspora. I don't care whether they have papers or not. It is the loyalty and connection to the country and how much they love their country. Yeah. Nga keloke, mbe keloke mko okay, banko mumbele tati. Sadada jamano malo minka keoto. I don't know what happened because I was very young. By the time Sadauda took power in 94, we were teenagers, very young, very little ones. But Jaminata, now we are on the barrow. And President Adam Barrow, for example, again, I know people will interpret this in very bad ways, but I'm sure Sayati Yauman, Tilobina Lumi Yalonko, President Barrow will let anybody me alonka aka jitem view with a very bad view. President Adam Barrow. And in anybody min kande jibe with a very bad view. Ibalon na jite kamin fonya kunum. Wallahi walam tonyat. NPP, President Barrow la mansaya diaspora minke oro sembo watal. Nko. Alko diaspora molmi a citizenship soto. Ite kenola members of parliament. Alko ite president yanual. Alko ite kenola vice president. Alko ite kenola cabinet minister. Alafte ye dabula banko kan ala kuoto nyadi. How do you want them to have a say and be part of decision making of that country? What naldi amada diaspora this diaspora diaspora. This is what where do you want them to stand, to have a say? Adumbe diaspora mbal bele made mafo NPP mafo UDP al be too. Central Bank Governor Bua said he came to the US, Seattle Nkolia Kalamudale. They are trying to gather investment from diaspora to Gambia. But say, Nita Laftantanganda Bula Yiriwa Kuru, but in the Femfonola Gentleman say so, in the decision or make nola, Imalafinda. Honey, Nadenga business okay, no problem. But it a Kodo dinner. But it Kodo Beduna Dame ila Iman Semboso to Redatije, Idabondije. Ngadenga do kuokede banko etanyar ngadenga jio sang ngadenga ming ngadenga domoroke ngadomoro sang ngadenga ladla sang bari wo ladula abelo la nyame datije wo jio jumala ba minne datije isete fon bal noala ngadeng ngabungolo ngadeng ngajio sang ngadeng ngadomoro sang ngadeng ngadula dada bari wo jio Foeba mina dati jendel bo decide le. Wo domoro foeba domala wala jumala ba domala ete dati je. You cannot say, you don't have a say in that. Wo bungo foete belala je foete lala je. You don't have a say in that. You still want me to contribute. You are not fair to me. And that is what is happening to you, diaspora. That is what is happening. New constitution came, 2020 draft, at least eco. Alkaminke diaspora la mambeta. The new draft, the first draft. Diasporans can run for National Assembly, they can be ministers, you can be anything except president and vice president. That yes, that one no go area. But as a dual citizen, you can be a minister, you can be a member of parliament. You can get those. That's not a problem. Drafto e wala samana. Wo drafto ya samba kabiri ya samba parliament min rejecta. That section 5 is still in the constitution. But to our surprise, the new draft, Honorable Dauda Jallo Emin submit to Parliament, member under review. Dauda has entirely deleted that aspect of the Constitution. So they are, in essence, in the same view with Yaya Jammeh when it comes to diaspora. The entire cabinet seat, a minister, in His Excellency President Adama Barrow, and in Vice President is Sita. Section of me alonka be constitution okone ko diaspora kol mumo kendo leti idabe banko to le fanal ka contribute le banko dingol lelmu adum ninge dabula banko botamandi nyato abe banko na falal adu wallahi if diaspora is involved in the way the country is run, of course that is important. Of course, that will only add value to our country. That will not reduce anything. But say, well, okay, that section, it had a cabinet tata from His Excellency to the last cabinet minister to delete that entire section. What they are Lord de Warna, Lord Doina Ward. But I know, of course, there are people they will interpret it in a different way. But tell me, what is the basis? Dauda has Manzakunda, Isoko he has Manzakunda, and I hope journalists ole taraja minni alonko be lamoro kala ka nyininka Honorable Minister of Justice. Again, I'm saying this because this is a responsibility mava telake, but I tell be marali o ministrila. Honorable Minister, mune ya tinna ite constitution o ya dada iko diaspora nkolu ise keno dipitel tile ya jamme bala ko ite kelati. Ya jamme ko ite kela minister, ya jamme ko ite kela president, ite kela vice president. Nata nko president and vice president nse omutade nse baliwola. Bari minister ya anin deputy ya. Come on, albe balla wala munala.
But it yoki yete dauda in His Excellency in Cabinet Minister al tata al sita ye means of a constitution ko ali abe bondije al ko momo Gambia dingoti ye banku do di asoto I barakata nyaonya ndol man sule a bare wodi amo siat wodi amo siatal wodi amo siatal. I want somebody to ask Dauda publicly about why they will exclude Gambia diaspora from every single decision-making position. Niya janka for decision-making. Elected officials, the power they hold are different from non-elected officials. Niye parliamentarian note, ise minkeno. Nieke cabinet ite okenola de cabinet minister député be hanyo minkela barola for example atela mansat député be hanyo minkela mansala minister te o hanyo kela mansala because niya kamfana be bayla for no reason fa ase wuldre ka ko ela ko mande nya e bay palaso yalon ase okenola yafa bari you know that is very expensive. But what that tells us, and this is where diaspora comes in. This is where diaspora, you came in. You are valuable. You love that country. And that's why every year, your contribution to that country only increases. Abukatala, because you feel good about your people. Ila friends all in Gambia, ibe wave kile. Ibama be Gambia, ibe wave kilai. Ila sister be Gambia, ibala karamunjola. Wolu be contribution la ka banko barakandi. Ye minu karandi wolle be Gambia sambala. Ika minu domorindi wolle ka balu no. Ye Gambia eta senola. Ye Gambia balundi. Ika kaspawa samminye. Wolle ka kodo kala nyokang. Ika nawek jo. Nawek kado kulal jo. Kaspawa minka sang Gambia. Aminka bo Gambia asiata. Aminka bo diaspora ndolia. Ndala suwo kono ndelebe maralin cash power ni ka banda cash power bembu mita bembul nga jurumije 3000 5000 wala nga wave nani seta cash power ke fengo kon diaspora kolun tollebe o keka majority of the people mini alon ko courant e ka courant sa e ka san dollebul we contribute, we love that country again nga fali we are in the diaspora mol se kordal soto no jam. But because they cannot buy 2 compounds, they have decided to only become renters in this country. Tenants. Only tenants. They can buy mortgages. But you know, they will only be tenants because they've decided that there are millions of dollars. They are better off spending it building a multi-million dollars in the Gambia. Even though they are aware that they only go to Gambia sometimes once 2 years, once a year, just 1 month in a year is what they spend in that multi-million dollars house. They are here with their children. They are renting here in their 2 and 3 bedroom houses here. They have 6 bedroom houses in the Gambia, all polished, all furnished, expensive. It's there. They pay property taxes. They pay electricity for it. They pay water bills to government of the Gambia. But they are here with their children. That is because they love that country. Aliye bali dipite yala, aliye bali fem. But this particular cabinet, majority of whom have their children living outside, and their objectives, of course, is for them to have papers there. A lot of these cabinet ministers, they have their wives in the diaspora as citizens of those countries. They have their children who are citizens of these countries as well. They have brothers. In fact, they have a lot of children, ministers. You want to tell me all your children that are in the diaspora with papers don't like that country? You don't trust them to be members of parliament from your constituencies, your own children that you give birth to? You really believe that your wives that have papers and are educated and are dual citizens in the US, in the UK, in Germany, you cabinet ministers, you really, really believe those people have ill will or they have something against that country? Where do you want us to contribute? Where? Because decisions are made in two places in that country. Cabinet SC, Eco Gambia, we need to raise taxes. $1 billion in tax. Well, 28 billion. Cabinet decides. They tell Yankuba Dabo, you must raise 60 billion. 100 billion. You must. In 2025, Cabinet decides. Cabinet. They decide how much tax they want to be raised. Cabinet decides how much Gambia needs to fund some. There is no diaspora in that cabinet. So diaspora does not have a say in how much should be spent on the Gambia. So cabinet sits down and decide Gambia, the amount of money that should be spent in the Gambia is 70 billion, whatever, 65 billion, 35 billion. Parliament, cabinet decides that. And when cabinet decides that, it doesn't go to parastatals. It doesn't go to ambassadors. It doesn't go to members at SOEs, state-owned enterprises. It doesn't go to those people. It goes to cabinet, parliament. Parliament also decides, okay, Ministry of Interior, too much money, reduce it, or we are not going to accept it. These are the two institutions. You refuse to include diaspora in it, and you really believe you respect them. I believe ne. You heard the song, Bakoton Fenyo, Bakoton Fenyo. Aliamuel, Bakoton Fenyo. Now I believe Ndolmu Bakoton Fenyo let. I 100% believe that no matter how much your contribution, no matter how much they say, they sing, they praise you, deep in them, you are just yaw nekulo dara fenyekal bakotonga hamga bakoton fenyekalo bakoton fenyek yaw lolu rek nga pasiloko desloko iman dasala iman tambala yaw bakoton fenyo rek nga if you are from the diaspora. Otherwise, it is very clear that there is only one thing. What is in parliament that if a dual citizen holds will have a problem on that dual citizen? What is in parliament? What is there? What security is there? What is so special about that parliament that Gambians with dual citizenship should not hold it? What is? Tell me. For cabinet, that is even what makes me wonder. Why do you care? I mean, cabinet is an appointed institution. In fact, say anybody, even foreigners can be members of cabinet. Say it. The president decides who he picks for cabinet. Even if dual citizens are allowed. Ambassadors right now, you can make anybody an ambassador. How many diasporans are in the embassy? Not all of them are not in the embassy. How many people? The president decides who he picks as an ambassador. Because diasporans are allowed to be ambassadors does not make the entire Gambian embassy across the world diaspora dual citizen ambassadors. The fact that diasporans, dual citizens, are allowed to become managing directors. How many dual citizens are managing directors? I know only one. There may be 3, 4, or maybe I know 2, I know 3. In sensitive institutions, Gamtel is Lamin Tungara. He's an American citizen. Gamtel is a sensitive institution. I also know the new IT agency, Mr. Jallo, on the Ministry of Digital Economy, an American. He is holding that sensitive position. Those are more sensitive than cabinet. It is those things that you put together and take them to cabinet. Information technology, defense. You have Gambian citizens that are dual citizens. They are in defense. The most sensitive position, in fact, that I believe should no dual citizen should hold, should be intelligence, police maybe, Inspector General of Police. Anybody can be intelligence chief. They are dual citizens in the intelligence. Senior cadre of Gambia's intelligence service. Senior, top ranks, directors, AIGs, they are dual citizens. In the Gambia, they know more about Gambia's secrets than ministers. They know more about sensitive information than members of parliament. The entire intelligence apparatus, you have thousands of or tens of dual citizens, top level dual citizens in intelligence, SIS, in police. They have the most sensitive information about our country. Have they ever betrayed you? Have they ever acted in a way that jeopardizes the national interest of the Gambia? Man, you know. Why are you excluding them from holding cabinet positions? Why are you excluding them from becoming National Assembly members? They can only add value. They will not reduce any value. If I can be CMC, Crime Management Coordinator, and AIG, major crimes, as a dual citizen, if I can be an AIG or Assistant Director General Intelligence with dual citizenship, if I can be a colonel, a lieutenant colonel in Gambia Armed Forces as a dual citizen, if I can be a managing director of National Water and Electricity Company as a dual citizen, these are the most, even Tubabudu, these are the most sensitive institutions. If I can be a dual citizen at GRA, at Ports Authority, if I can be a dual citizen at Gambia National Petroleum Company, a very, very sensitive national security institution, if I can be a dual citizen and hold number 1 and number 2 job, the MD, GNPC is a dual citizen. Deputy MD, GNPC is a dual citizen. Our GNPC, Gambia National Petroleum Company, Petroleum House in Fenke, they are dual citizens. If those people can hold those positions, what is so special about cabinet? But what this shows, Diaspora, is how much we are not, and this is not exclusive, this is not about Barrow, this is not about this cabinet, this is about how we are viewed by our own brothers and sisters. And it's about time we came together. It's about time we realized that if you don't say I am, nobody will say you are. You must fight for what belongs to you. You must fight for what is your right. You must fight for what is your share of responsibility. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And I've forgotten to say, you can be a judge in the Gambia and a dual citizen. A judge perhaps holds more sensitive matters than a minister probably. What is the difference between a minister and a judge? Or governor of central bank? Or deputy governor of central bank? These are the most sensitive institutions in the country. If you can be a judge and a dual citizen, does it even make sense? Does it, like if it is not just about, okay, nyinumu palaso leti, ndolle lafta nyim palaso la, ninga nyimbula, nyindol binale, ibemfengela. Other than that, tell me the rationale, tell me the sense it makes. A Gambian dual citizen cannot be an MP, but can be director of intelligence at SIS. A Gambian citizen cannot be an MP, but can be Inspector General of Police. A Gambian dual citizen cannot be an MP, but can be a Director General of GAMTEL, can be a Director General of GNPC, can be Director General of GRA, can be Central Bank Governor, but cannot be an MP. Like seriously? Like seriously? Diaspora lafta min folade. Senegal. Man nombalong. I think it's about 7. Ye carte fay mol be ni paret. Mo worawula. E kawle tombom band. Foye kaito sotoje, foye man kaito sotoje, they don't care. diaspora mo worahula e kawole tombong ye dabulande député kunda because he lata nyinalako diaspora is an important component of development. They have contributed immensely itamatale development oje adu ninge dabula banko tamandola kuoto ibe makoylale ibe fenna la fala mi ala be jarala banko e mi ala be banko sola nyato tani yirwa wala na député warawula député palaso warawula sénégalais wala ta ya mutayla dingol ye minnu be band nin carte fa kada fa banda e ka wolle kije mo warawula la kataraje diaspora toyala fota kairote député ya isaje nim bojeto nata kodo nata puruka depansi diaspora finansa fa ndol ngamira de ni manyan kela ni nyanda kelale nin decision make tawoto then diaspora had a say. They have also had a responsibility in running the affairs of the country. In the Gambia, two institutions are responsible. Cabinet, they decide and take it to Parliament for approvals. Parliament approves. If Parliament refuses to approve, there is another way Cabinet handles matters. The President has another power that he can bypass Parliament. But these are the two. Atolko okay, naburo dal nimir wata bakilim fakilim ndimolu nkotolu mbari musolu mbari ndingolu mo kendo lemu sawo sang ika biliono min kija ka siale ika bungol lo ika mol samba karamuto I bete adal bare mallela banko e bo o beta mala nyamen malla la woto la da bondi woto ntolle ba fala banko be kala nyam baratol da fono o man bete alkana song nganyimira ko aliya muda ba ko don feñollet adu nyimmanke NPP da manke UDP lafta min fola nyin constitution on min be caring. I don't know what's going to be its fate because I did a lot of one-to-one discussion with a lot of MPs, but the sign I am getting is that the constitution is not going to pass. That is the sign I am getting. I'm not saying I do not want it to pass. That's not what I'm saying. But the sign I am getting from the little survey I have made, I've conducted a little survey from the respondents in Parliament. From that analysis, as a statistician, the possibility, the probability of this constitution making it is very highly unlikely. I can say with 95% confidence for statisticians, the confidence interval, 95% confidence with that level of assurances, it's possible the constitution is not going to pass. From the survey I have made, from the little discussions I have with members of parliament across the divide, whether it's NPP, whether it's NRP, whether it's UDP, I have had discussions and some APRC MPs, and it's not looking good for the constitution, even though I believe it should be passed. But one thing that diaspora needs to do is to understand that nobody has your interests at home apart from yourselves. You can share your money with them for investment. You can build your nice houses there. You can pay your nice taxes. You can have everything you want there. But when it comes to decision making, they are not interested in you being part of the decision-making process of your country. For whatever reason, is best known to them. Otherwise, why on earth will a cabinet sit down? Ikoyaya jammemi for tonyalong alanake. Cabinet base seater, cabinet. I base seater, minister, you need His Excellency and Vice President. Go. Momo Mugambia dingoti kumata nyao nya. Ya jammemi for tonyalo me ite kela president di jang, ite kela vice president di jang, ite kela minister di jang, ite kela deputy. Atol mimbe UDP aldia mala deputy li ala fo eko ninyim pe pasila na pe pasila ala fo eko section 5 or chapter 5 needs to come back because Dauda deleted it completely. Again, brother Dauda, I'm not saying you as a person, you are the one in charge of the constitution, and I have to say that. So, Allah for ye, because mimbe keri wolam nyindiko, any of you can be better than any MP that is holding a position today. Any of you. But you can do better than them. Nte sonda nyina ndenga mollo minu bota birikama. Billahi alladhi la ilaha ghairu. Kodo mimbe olbul. Londo mimbe bul. Ebe America ebe Angleterre. Birikama dingol mbe olemade. Birikama dingol nte bota birikama south. Ya birikama tala fulati blake note blake south. Wallahi alladhi khalaqani. Ngam mollo minu bota birikama south. Ibe tubabu du birikama lansarol dingol lemu. Niewol ke members of parliament ibe kukela birikama e kijobe bola. Wolbe kukela Gambia, wolbe contribute kela Gambia e kijobe bola. Ngawol lonne. Ye samba wollelbe do ko kela katambi Lamin Sanel na big brother. Wollelbe do ko kela katambi Alaji Dabola birikama not. Wallahi ngaw mollo ne minu bota birikama. I know them. Adu molbe combo isle fanam. Molbe everywhere you know. And these are people, some of them, they really want to contribute. Like, for example, you have to struggle to look for connections. Coming to Canada, for example, Jibimbalo, he came here. We'll talk about that. He did very well here. I mean, but he Alhamdulillah, Jibi. If Jide was an MP, do I need that? I can walk to a minister here. My own MP here is the Minister of National Safety and head of the Intelligence Committee of Canada. My own minister, Jam. Kataola office, I walk and go to his office. Kong, how are you? Fine, Jite, you Amadou, you okay? Magenti. He's a minister. I go there like I go to Ablai Sanyang, my big brother in cabinet. I go there like I go to this guy Ibrahim Asila. So if I'm a member of parliament, I know the mayor, we can go to the mayor. So, for example, if I'm a member of parliament at the dual citizen, I have a lot more connections than Lamin Sane. And perhaps what I can bring to that country and connection I can make for the people that need development, Lamin Sane cannot do that. Come on, I'll open the Gambia for people to develop it. Mari, Nindo kain. Diamo siaral. Ndalafta diamo lale wala bi. Disappoint dal ninkom man disappoint. Adu momo ni lafta. Afo jida kata media le falilla alhamdu. Ndeka minfo ngalon ko ala ya wolom toñati. Ndol fango nyi mummalolti. Nyi malo warta bake. Ala ya long kila long ko. Ntola mansa kunda. Ntela nyin cabinet, this particular cabinet, wolel be sila. Iye molmi niye kelo ke dolbije wolbenun diaspora le be kelol. Minister dolbe nyil kono. Wolnin tolle lota soldiers and soldier. In the trenches. Ka keloke, ka fitinoke, ka make sure mobe ya tasodo banko kan. Atol denda fengola. Keloke ta. Ite tasore idonyo ini me keloke ye bala tala. Adunia di ala metora. Bari ya balala dalilo minna ala dronyalo. Sundu Ture would have made an excellent minister. Fabu Sane would have made an excellent minister. Ibrahim Chongan would be a very good minister. Until I know people, name them, you tell me. They will be excellent ministers. You will have excellent members of parliament. Assis Bojang, former police commander, Assis. Niolke parliament, these are experts in security. They've traveled, they've learned. But Alkohani, their contributions are not worthwhile. They have connections. Molle nale kelolke mobe nale kelolke adolke da ministality adolke da fengolde e ma foko nale mol bulaiko ye constitution open that will make them ministers. For now, Barrow can decide and make anybody. How many Gambians are in NPP that are not dual citizens? How many NPP guys are not dual citizens? Mini alongo e keloke foi batat foi ke ministality. He make a minister. They are Gambians, they are there. Dolbe kamfari. Fire a minister, now make a minister. How many Gambians are there? I mean, diaspora. For Baroque members of fire some diaspora, fire some embassy. No. How many Gambians? How many? Near Minister Abula. Yeah, open. You think that will make everybody from diaspora ministers and you guys lose the position? No. Ate okela. Still, Barrow has the same power. Now after Minister Bonin Ambase, Ibe, everybody, 18 ministers, Ibe Bobase, that is his prerogative. But in Kavoleko, don't discriminate where it is general. Don't discriminate. Mol sekeno members of parliament lesa open nole, or is it a carte fayola ye 4? Kodo fana Martin na moeke member of parliament. Kodo Martin na moeke chairman of an area council. Nde bota jannen tata. Nde ni yanku banse ofo. Bari nga alfa lo nyana mir wata tubabu duje tata e palasol nyini chairman sif nyol ni fenko li maso. So near Palaso yele pour mole ke members of parliament o fana maida niko mol mini algo be parliament Gambia dingol tasrola. No. What a kelo no. Even with that, people can still be members of parliament. But a de facto, an entire cabinet, a government that has a monumental support, some very prominent members of its ranks as dual citizens sitting down to blatantly discriminate against that constituency. That is NPP members of parliament. Forget about cabinet members. Alial koto lonne momo be NPP ni man do sodo Gambia koto sodo Gambia tubabu dule ni man dingo soto ye bari dingo soto ete mimbe NPP ben jibe kandeng walle bi nani video jibe la. Forget about Barrow. Foyte man la fi la broda e ke minister ba mimbe tubabu du foy man la fa sena e ke minister ay banko doku foyte man la fi dingo mimbe tubabu du ite mi carte o fay ninte be kukiling be nga carte o fay Barrow minister tombong foyte man la fi ido wale barin keo mi ya lonko wallel be tubabu du iman la fi wale na suo kono e ke député eldi yalla constituency lu yalla député banko ni ya topoto foy man la fi won. Of course you want it. Why are they discriminating against us? I told député al salon ko alim minu do koke jama balu foy be UDP le mo jama le bije mini sponsor bota diaspora mo jama le bije mini alon koy badi ngol le be diaspora foy mo UDP li foy mo NRP li foy mo APRC li foy mo NPP li mo député di albe loi min albe preside kan over. There is a serious discrimination in that constitution against your brothers and sisters in the diaspora. The ball now is in your court. Decide whether diaspora is any value to you, whether they are of any use to you, you decide. But upon your decision, my concern now is in the diaspora. I told me banda Gambia dingol le malti, alala nyantol kele, fight for your rights. When united, there is no power in that country that can stand you. When united, you can force a party leader to resign. You can force a constitution to be amended. You can change the outcome of an election. Because you have changed the outcome of that election. That we know. Whether you went personally, whether you send money, whether you speak to those people that listen to you, because their sustenance by the grace of Allah is in your hands. You can do a lot. So you have to come together as diaspora. Whether I don't care whether you are UDP or any, I don't care. I don't care about that. But as a constituent, you are not recognized. You are not valued. Every government, whether it's Barrow or anybody, they will come because they know the country cannot move without your remittances. They know that. Any government knows that. The constituents called diaspora contributes immensely. Senegal recognizes it and it appreciates and acted upon that. But Gambia will not. nalma wule alfango lelo ale for hey nga private members below sponsor. Let's talk to some members of parliament. Let's try and see if they can help with a private member bill that will come. Even if that thing is going to be is entrenched, let's go to referendum. Let's go to referendum and change those bloody discriminatory constitutional provisions in the 1997 constitution. Let's change it. Let's change it. Because it's against us. It doesn't, there is no grounds for it. No grounds. Somebody doesn't just want you to be a part of the decision making of your own country that you love so much. That is the only reason. Dalila Tije, there is nothing. Ibemimfole. Me along it will make sense. So diaspora, let's come together and change that. I am not saying leave NPP, leave UDP, leave Mama Kande. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying. I'm saying as Gambians too, let us fight to make sure our rights are recognized in that constitution. And nobody will do that for you. When the country changed, two things were changed in the interest of people. Ye age limit falling. Pour mo do se palaso so mo killing. Ye age limit falling. Pour mo killing na right mem violator. As a restore. Inata a local government act falling. Pour momo mi alonko Gambia dingolo. Iketa deputy. Niye fonyo parti o mi ye sambaje niye fonyo ikana foela palaso. They changed that. We have seen that. But diasporans, no. Nothing about that constitution that is against you has changed. Nothing has changed about that constitution. The only part that is allow us to participate. But they are not. You are not going to vote because that is out of it. You are not going to vote. Well, I'm out of like diaspora should vote. You are not voting. So we cannot vote. You are not voting. You are not. Don't even think about that because that is very, very, very too much. You vote. Come on. You are so useless. You cannot voting. We cannot even talk about that. But you cannot participate in an election. You cannot seek for office, and you are not Gambian enough to be a member of cabinet. Conversations need to happen. We all own that country. We are not against anybody. Leave the cabinet positions open. Nimman salafta kana diaspora nka kije. But it's a right pour palaso luye open mo be. Mansaya nga ofo janne baromu dia mbaleti. Nko al se constitutional fenke nole. Ye mol allow. Vice President ya. President ya. Niko ebekala Vice President. Ila citizenship renounce. President ya. Isa nyini nole as a dual citizen. That's what I said. That is also in the interest of a Gambian. Because nimmo be tubabdu abedi alaje akanafal leso. There are benefits attached to that. You understand that? So, Barry, that benefit extends to Gambia, by the way. Momo be diaspora jang haketu. Yen nafa soto jang. Wallahi, anafaka da Gambia. Na lafta mansaya. Every Gambian that is Gambian by birth and has another dual citizenship, you can run for president. That's okay. If you win an election, get a provision in the constitution to say, now that you have won, you must work towards renouncing your citizenship within this period of time. If you lose an election in an event, maintain a dual citizenship and continue to enjoy your privileges and continue to extend those benefits and privileges to your brothers and sisters that are in the Gambia. I think that is fair enough. I mean, other than that, what is wrong with that? Hani president yambe olla. Nte ko luwa nyanda falin nale. Ka fo moy ko ete kela no president di ni mu Gambia de de la do di ya soto. Wo man aman na fa soto nte ko. Alsa fo no le ha. Karte fa yo ise o kenole ise lo no mansa yala. Ba luwa ya itandi ko ni lo ta mansa yala. Ni a soto. Ela di ya o banku do e ba denounce la. You must denounce it. Luwa nyanda tara yele ni mo ke. you are going to be impeached. You will be forced to leave. Bar niye man sayani ni president ya imasoto. Ela kaito hanima renounce. Ise tuila America di yala. Ise tuila France di yala. Ise tuila German di yala. Bari min fa jawe ata nyimbeti. Mo jama babal kono minu ka nyinke. Allah musol be wulu kan America le. Ibe wulu kan Canada. That is very popular in the Gambia. Your children, a lot of women, when they are pregnant, their husbands smuggle them. Yesamanang Canada je wulujang. They have automatic citizenship. Mbe tollema de. I tollemin ka molu balinyin kay dolla. Mbe tollema. Mbe tollema de. Ike dingol chikana ye smuggle ila musoli na wuluje jang kay do so. Ye samba America, ye wuluje America kay do so. Ila o dingol ye Gambia kay do so America kay do so. Ibe sirin Gambia. Lumbe sila ye modo jawya nyimbulobe jamfala abe futala dulato ye minke bi abe kuyale bake wolo ha alate o mansati so diaspora ndebato lema. This is a discussion that needs to continue. Mbadunga diamo danjang. I know today my videos will go to where they are supposed to, and I know. Again, let me make this declaration. I am 100% NPP, but this has nothing to do with NPP. This is Gambian thing. This is a national issue. This transcends a party issue. You cannot discriminate against an entire critical sector or component or constituent of a nation. It's very discriminatory. There is no diplomatic way of saying it. I do not agree whether it's from His Excellency Barrow, whether it's from Mohamed Jallo, Vice President Dauda. I don't agree. It's against our rights and it's against our citizenry as Gambian diasporans, and I would not agree. No, I say no to it, and I will continue to advocate. At least nabalu obe alabulu mampala shingin kadung alabem balundi kan kabirin wati juma mbe baluri na de ngwenje nkanna bayol sanno nkanna funo sang nkanna bago sang nkanna computer sanno nkamu balo sang alabem balundi kan nkata nkana mbe ala tenturing mbe kila jairing sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So MPs, members of parliament, nala second reading sita alinyen kuores nala ala burodal kan nala me kanu fana Gambia no minu be panda. This is what is happening against you. You can unite. We can change what they refuse to change about us. Very discriminatory. They do not allow us to vote. We cannot vote. You have to buy a ticket, $200,000, 150,000. Yeta ye register. Ye murunang kotike. Ye na 150,000 jo kotike. Yeta ye carte of file. Nimo kenak. You are not valuable. Ite carte of file. That is number one. Number two, ite palas sotola. Mi yalonko palaso mu palas leti mi yalonko wollel ka decide Gambia nyanda tamala nyadi. Iman kumaya enough to be a part of those positions. And that to me is super disappointing. That to me is the height of betrayals from those you work with very closely to achieve what is being used to benefit them and their families. That is the height of betrayals. Bari nin kuota da abebanda yalan kila min of sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa ufawidu amri ila Allah inna Allah basirun bil ibad kuoto ma ngabedi alala ka jero ke jowo jonka minke ada telon fewti mimbe sondomol kon bitun toma abalbul. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.